chosen one, I need you to stop scrolling immediately. Do not move your eyes away from this screen. This is not another random video trying to pass the time, because it is a direct divine interception meant exclusively for you. You have been running on empty for weeks, and right now your soul is desperate for an answer. Take a deep breath and listen closely to my voice. I know exactly how your body feels in this exact moment. There is a heavy tightness sitting right in the center of your chest, while your shoulders carry the invisible weight of 1,000 silent battles. You wake up exhausted before the day even begins, and nobody around you understands the silent war you fight. You have been wondering why everything feels so incredibly difficult lately, why the people you trusted suddenly turned their backs on you. The isolation has been suffocating and brutal. You probably thought you did something wrong to deserve this overwhelming loneliness, but heaven wants you to know that you are not crazy. You are just completely misunderstood. The algorithm did not bring you to this exact moment. Your own desperate prayers dragged this frequency directly into your timeline. Because heaven saw something incredibly rare hidden deep inside your spirit, they have been watching you quietly endure the pain while you kept giving your light away. And they have been waiting for you to realize the truth. There is a massive secret about your identity that has been kept from you. A secret that explains every single closed door and every painful rejection you experienced this year. The universe did not punish you when it stripped away your comfort zone, because it was protecting the delicate anomaly that lives inside your spiritual DNA. You carry a frequency that terrifies the darkness, but you must pay very close attention to what I say next. If you swipe away before this message is complete, you will miss the exact key you need. The divine mechanism that activates your hidden power will remain locked if you walk away now, and you will continue to feel drained for another endless cycle. Do not let the enemy distract you from this breakthrough. They want you to keep scrolling because they know what happens when you wake up. The forces that drain your energy are terrified of this exact moment. They thrive when you are tired and doubting your own intuition. But heaven has decided that your season of being blind to your own power ends tonight, and you are about to uncover the ultimate reason for your struggle. Think about how many times you tried to shrink yourself to fit their boxes. You minimized your bright light just to make them feel comfortable. You swallowed your own tears while you rushed to heal their bleeding wounds, and yet they still looked at you like you were the problem. That painful cycle was not a coincidence. It was a rigorous spiritual test. Heaven needed to see if you would maintain your pure heart. They needed to know if you would still choose love when the world offered you bitter betrayal. And you passed that excruciating test with absolute flying colors. That is why the divine realm is finally stepping in, because they want to lift the heavy veil from your tired eyes. There is something profound that they saw inside you long before you were born. It is a terrifying and beautiful gift that makes you a master of your own reality. But right now, it is lying dormant beneath years of trauma, and you have to stay with me until the end of this message to awaken it. The time has come. You might feel a strange sensation in your body as you listen to these words. That subtle tingling or sudden warmth is your intuition recognizing the absolute truth. Your spirit knows that a massive shift is hovering right above your life, while it patiently waits for your conscious mind to catch up and accept the divine authority. Do not ignore this sign. The world tries to label your deep empathy as a fragile weakness. They tell you that you are just too sensitive for this harsh reality. But heaven laughs at their blind arrogance, because the very thing they mocked is actually a weapon of pure light designed to shatter their illusions. You were built to break the generational curses they blindly accepted. I need you to anchor yourself in this space for just a little while longer. The revelation coming your way is heavy, and it will change how you view your past. Every tear you cried in secret was carefully collected and measured by the divine forces. And heaven is preparing to pour out a compensation that will shock everyone, but you must be completely ready to receive it. Heaven saw something about you that the rest of the world was entirely blind to, and they have been waiting for the perfect moment to help you realize it yourself. The waiting season is officially over, and the rigorous preparation is complete. Take one more slow breath and prepare your resilient heart. Because nothing will ever be the same after you hear this truth. Let us talk about what happens when the lights go out. You lie down in the dark and close your heavy eyes, but your brain refuses to shut down and rest. The physical exhaustion is deep inside your bones, yet your mind is running a relentless marathon while you desperately pray for peace. You toss and turn. You stare at the blank ceiling. And then the clock strikes 3 in the morning. Waking up at 3 in the morning is not a random sleep issue. It happens consistently, and it leaves you feeling entirely drained the next day. The doctors might tell you it is just normal stress or anxiety. They prescribe routines and tell you to relax. But deep down, you know it is something much deeper than just daily stress. Because your soul feels entirely restless, no matter what you do. Your soul is being violently shaken awake, while the rest of the world sleeps blindly. There is a frantic energy buzzing in the silent room. You feel a strange pressure in your head and a quiet fluttering in your chest. It is as if someone is desperately trying to hand you an urgent message, while your physical body struggles to translate the unseen frequencies of heaven. You walk through your day feeling like a ghost among the living. You sit in crowded rooms and listen to people talk about trivial things. They laugh at shallow jokes. They obsess over meaningless drama. And you just sit there with a polite smile, while a profound sense of alienation completely swallows your heavy heart. You have never felt so disconnected. It feels like you are speaking a foreign language that nobody else can understand. You try to share your deep thoughts. You try to explain the heavy emotions weighing on your spirit, but they just look at you with blank stares and tell you that you are crazy. So you eventually learn to swallow your words and protect your peace, retreating back into your quiet shell where nobody can judge your pure heart. The isolation is not just physical anymore. It has become a heavy spiritual blanket wrapping around your daily existence. You look at your phone and see a list of contacts, but there is absolutely no one you can call when you are falling apart. The people you used to resonate with suddenly feel like distant strangers. You feel entirely abandoned by the universe. You ask yourself if you are the toxic one. You wonder if you are pushing people away because you are fundamentally broken. The enemy loves to plant these dark seeds of doubt inside your tired mind. They want you to believe that your intense depth is a repulsive flaw, and they try to convince you that you are destined to die completely alone. Do not listen to those vicious lies. I need you to hear the absolute truth right now. Your deep loneliness is not a symptom of a psychological disease. It is a symptom of a massive spiritual outgrowing. You are shedding the old environments that no longer match your rapidly elevating vibration, while your soul brutally rejects anything that feels fake or misaligned with your destiny. You are evolving beautifully. Think about how much energy you have freely given away. You are the empath with boundaries that were constantly violated by energy vampires. You listened to their endless problems. You absorbed their heavy trauma. You poured your precious light into their dark voids, and they happily took every single drop without ever pouring anything back into your cup. Now your cup is entirely bone dry. You feel a deep resentment building up inside your tired chest. You feel guilty for being angry at the people you love. But you are just so incredibly exhausted from being the strong one all the time, and the heavy burden is breaking your shoulders. You want to stop carrying the world. Take a slow breath and release that heavy guilt right now. You are not a bad person for feeling completely empty. You are simply a chosen one who finally ran out of human strength. The divine realm allowed you to reach this breaking point on purpose, because they needed you to stop relying on your own limited power and surrender to their guidance. Every time you felt like an alien on this planet, heaven was placing a protective mark on your forehead. They designed you to feel uncomfortable in normal spaces, so you would never settle for less. Your beautiful heart was never meant to blend in with a crowd that is completely asleep to the profound spiritual realities of this universe. You are a rare anomaly. Tap the like button as an act of agreement with what God just spoke to you. Let that action be the moment you stop apologizing for your depth. You are not crazy, and you are not broken. You are a rare soul undergoing a brutal but necessary metamorphosis, and the intense pressure you feel is simply the dark cocoon doing its painful job. The sleepless nights are your quiet training sessions. While the city sleeps in heavy ignorance, your tired spirit is downloading critical blueprints for your new timeline. The exhaustion you feel in the morning is just the physical residue of heavy spiritual lifting. You are doing massive generational work while your physical eyes are closed. Do not let the shadows convince you that this pain is permanent. The tight chest and the racing thoughts are temporary side effects of a massive energetic upgrade. Heaven sees you sitting alone in the dark. Heaven hears the desperate questions you whisper to the empty room, and they are stepping in right now to finally answer every single one, so you can finally step into your true divine power. Look back at the people who walked away. You remember the sudden distance, the cold betrayals stung deeply, and you spent countless hours staring at the blank wall, wondering why they discarded your pure heart so incredibly easily. You thought your frequency was simply too broken to be loved properly. But there is a hidden reason they left. Stop blaming yourself for their sudden departure. I need you to completely release that heavy guilt right now. You replayed those painful conversations 1,000 times in your head, desperately searching for the exact moment you made a fatal mistake. You convinced yourself that you were the toxic one, but you were completely innocent in that brutal equation. The truth they tried to hide from you is profound. Those people were never meant to be your permanent tribe. They were simply temporary spiritual assignments designed to test your resilient boundaries. They were drawn to your blinding light like starving moths to a bright flame, and they happily consumed your energy until you had absolutely nothing left to give. But heaven was watching every single interaction very closely. They saw the hidden daggers behind those fake smiles. They heard the toxic whispers when you left the crowded room. And because heaven deeply loves the rare soul inside you, they ruthlessly orchestrated those painful rejections to completely sever those dangerous attachments. Rejection was absolutely never a punishment for your mistakes. It was the ultimate divine protection protocol activated on your behalf. God deliberately closed those doors to protect you from rooms you were never meant to enter. If those people had stayed in your life, their low vibration would have anchored you to a timeline of endless suffering. Listen carefully to this next part. Your current loneliness is not a curse. The empty rooms and the silent phone are not signs of your personal failure. What you are experiencing right now is divine isolation. You have been energetically quarantined by the universe to protect your shifting frequency from being contaminated by their chaotic drama. During this sacred isolation, the universe is heavily detoxing your spirit. You are being completely cleansed of the trauma they carelessly left behind. The silence around you might feel deafening and terrifying at times, but in that profound stillness, your spiritual roots are growing incredibly deep into the solid ground of your new divine identity. You also wondered why your blessings were severely delayed. You prayed desperately for a breakthrough. You watched other people easily get what they wanted, and you sat there wondering why heaven was completely silent to your desperate pleas. The agonizing season of waiting made you want to just walk away and settle for a completely invisible life. But the delay was never a divine denial. The universe was simply stalling for time because the environment was not ready for your massive upgrade. They were busy moving heavy obstacles out of your future path, and they needed you to sit perfectly still while the massive construction was happening behind the scenes. Your impatience was just human fear. You are the cycle breaker of your entire bloodline. You are the chosen one assigned to dismantle decades of deep generational trauma. That massive mission requires a weapon of light that is forged in the hottest fires of intense adversity. The crucible of pain had to burn away every single illusion you held about conditional love and fake loyalty. Take a deep breath right now. Let that absolute truth settle into your tired bones. The heavy burden of guilt does not belong to you anymore. You were an empath who simply loved too deeply in a world that was completely terrified of genuine vulnerability. Your only mistake was expecting hungry wolves to suddenly behave like gentle sheep. Here is the final truth about why they walked away. They did not leave because your frequency was too low. They ran away because your light was far too blinding for their fragile egos. They could no longer manipulate a master of reality who was finally waking up to their own immense worth. So they fled back into the familiar shadows where they belonged. You are finally learning to protect your sacred energy. The fragile empath who used to beg for basic human decency is officially gone forever. You have been beautifully transformed into a warrior who sets unbreakable boundaries without uttering a single apology. Your silence has become a heavy wall that the enemy can never penetrate. You are untouchable now. Do you feel that shift happening inside your chest? The painful past is finally making complete sense. Every tear and every bitter betrayal were necessary, coordinates mapping out your exact path to this glorious moment. The heavy training weights are finally coming off, and you are about to discover the massive reward that heaven prepared in the dark. You might be asking a very painful question right now. Why does the beautiful miracle always feel completely out of reach? You have done all the intense inner work. You have healed your heavy trauma, but the universe keeps pushing your ultimate reward further down the timeline while you watch other people easily succeed. Yet you are still standing in the brutal waiting room. There is a profound reason for this agonizing delay. The universe is not ignoring your desperate prayers. They are actually answering them in a way you cannot fully comprehend yet. But before they can deliver the massive blessing into your waiting hands, they have to forcefully clear the path of all hidden dangers. There is a hidden mechanism that has been temporarily blocking your immense breakthrough, and I need to explain it to you right now. Imagine your life as a magnificent palace built by divine hands. Over the painful years, toxic people walked inside and left their heavy garbage scattered everywhere. They filled your beautiful rooms with their dark anxieties. They drained your brilliant light and replaced it with their heavy insecurities, because they were entirely incapable of generating their own spiritual warmth. Your sacred space became completely contaminated. Heaven cannot place a priceless treasure into a dirty room. The divine frequency of massive wealth and true love requires absolute purity. If the universe handed you the massive blessing right now, the lingering energy vampires would immediately steal it from your tired hands and leave you entirely broken again. They would feed off your new success. They would drag you down. That is exactly why everything felt so incredibly stuck lately. The brutal delay was simply the divine forces scrubbing your spiritual house clean. They were quietly identifying every single person who secretly prayed for your downfall. They watched how those jealous friends reacted when you shared your big dreams, and heaven took careful notes of their subtle sneers. The massive purge had to happen. The sudden arguments and the weird misunderstandings were absolutely necessary. Heaven deliberately caused that massive friction to force the hidden enemies out of your life. They made your bright frequency so incredibly uncomfortable for those dark souls that they had no choice but to pack their bags and leave forever. You felt the painful sting, but it was divine protection. Some of these energy vampires were brilliantly disguised as your closest friends. They pretended to support your wild ambitions while secretly hoping you would miserably fail. They gave you terrible advice, dressed up as genuine concern, but their toxic masks began to slip when your spiritual frequency started vibrating at a much higher level, and heaven fiercely exposed their ugly truth. You finally saw their real faces. You did not actually lose anything of real value. You simply lost the heavy anchors that were drowning your spirit in the deep ocean. The universe was aggressively vacuuming the toxic residue out of your beautiful palace. They are preparing a majestic table for you, but they absolutely refuse to let the hungry wolves sit next to you while you feast. You deserve complete peace. This is the secret mechanism that blocked your prayers for years. It was never a lack of pure faith on your part. It was the constant hum of survival energy generated by the wrong people occupying your sacred space. And heaven has officially evicted every single one of them, effectively ending the brutal cleaning phase that kept you trapped in the painful waiting room. The dark cycle is officially over. Look around your quiet life right now. The profound emptiness you feel is not a tragic void of loneliness. It is a completely sanitized room that is finally ready to host your massive divine upgrade. The toxic leeches are permanently gone from your sacred timeline. Your powerful aura is completely sealed and protected from their desperate manipulation, and they can never access your bright light again. You are totally safe. You have officially become a weapon of light that no darkness can ever touch. The long delay was the intense sharpening of your brilliant blade. You had to learn how to stand entirely alone before you could be trusted with monumental power. And heaven is incredibly proud of the resilient warrior you have beautifully become during this dark and heavy isolation. The ultimate test is finally done. Take a deep breath and let the heavy anxiety melt away. Do you feel the strange lightness in your tired shoulders? That is the physical proof that the heavy energetic cords have been completely severed. You are no longer dragging the dead weight of their toxic expectations behind you, because the heavy block has been completely dismantled by divine intervention. Your spirit is entirely free. The universe is making the final preparations for your glorious arrival. The massive doors that were welded shut are slowly beginning to open, but you must actively claim this cleared space to prevent the old shadows from returning. Type 111 down in the comments to claim this alignment, and let that simple action be the absolute proof of your readiness. Do not hesitate, right now. You survived the brutal purge and you kept your pure heart entirely intact. Now the empty rooms of your beautiful palace are about to be filled with the exact miracles you begged for. But there is a specific sign you need to watch for next, because the darkness is furious that you survived the violent storm, and they are planning one last desperate attack before your dawn arrives. You must stay incredibly alert. There is a frantic energy happening in the unseen realm right now. The people who tried to destroy you are violently panicking. They are watching you from a safe distance with absolute terror in their eyes, because they fully expected you to come crawling back to them in deep despair. But you never returned their calls. You never begged for their toxic love. Your sudden disappearance completely shattered their fragile reality. Let us deeply examine the massive difference between you and them. You are a vast and profound ocean of pure empathy. They are merely shallow puddles of bottomless insecurity. They desperately needed your chaotic emotional reactions to feel powerful, and every time you cried over their cruel words, their twisted egos felt incredibly satisfied. They literally fed on your heavy pain to survive the day. But something magnificent shifted inside your tired spirit. You finally woke up and realized your own immense value. You simply stopped reacting to their deliberate provocations. You stopped explaining your pure intentions to people who were strictly committed to misunderstanding you, because your previous anxiety miraculously transformed into a massive concrete wall of quiet authority. And that deafening silence is driving them completely insane. They cannot comprehend how you survived their brutal attacks. They expected a messy screaming match to make you look completely crazy. They wanted to play the innocent victim and paint you as the villain. But you gave them absolutely nothing to work with. simply packing up your bright light and walking away without uttering a single defensive word. This quiet withdrawal is the ultimate disrespect to a narcissist. They are frantically checking your digital footprints right now. They ask mutual friends if you are struggling without their presence. They desperately want to hear that you are completely miserable and falling apart. But the universe is only showing them your undeniable glow and your rising success, forcing them to watch you beautifully rise from the very ashes they tried to bury you in. The divine karma is absolutely brutal. They made a catastrophic mistake when they underestimated you. They mistakenly thought your silence was a sign of permanent weakness. They assumed your endless forgiveness meant you were simply too stupid to see their lies. But they accidentally awakened a sleeping giant inside your gentle soul, and they are finally realizing that the empath with boundaries is literally the most dangerous force in this entire universe. You operate on a completely different dimensional frequency now. You are a master of reality who no longer tolerates disrespect disguised as a joke. You no longer accept cheap confusion disguised as complicated love. While they are stuck swimming in the dirty mud of their own bitter karma, you are effortlessly floating above the heavy storm. They can no longer manipulate what they cannot even reach. Let us talk about what is happening in their empty lives. The fake masks they wear to fool the world are rapidly slipping off. The people around them are finally beginning to see the dark truth you always knew. Everything they built on a foundation of lies is slowly crumbling to the ground, and they are losing control of their false narrative, while the deep panic literally suffocates them. They are starving for your light. They desperately want access to your sacred energy again. They might even try to reach out with a perfectly crafted fake apology, but your energetic doors are permanently welded shut to their chaotic vibration. You do not even harbor any burning hate for them anymore, because you simply view them with absolute cold indifference that is burning them alive from the inside out. Apathy is your new and unbreakable superpower. You simply do not care if they exist on this planet anymore. You do not wish them harm, but you also refuse to wish them well. They realize they completely lost the rarest soul they will ever encounter in this lifetime, and the heavy regret is sitting on their chests, exactly like the pain they once inflicted upon you. The universe always balances the cosmic scales. Heaven does not let anyone touch a chosen one without severe repercussions. You do not have to lift a single finger to defend your good name. The divine forces are actively fighting your battles while you sit in absolute peace. Take a deep breath and let a gentle smile cross your face, because your total victory is completely silent, and you have officially won the unseen war. But you must listen carefully to this next warning. As their panic reaches a desperate peak, they will attempt one last manipulative maneuver to pull you back into the dark mud. You must recognize their final illusion to protect your massive blessing, because the universe is about to deliver your reward, and the enemy desperately wants to steal it right at the very finish line. Stay fiercely guarded. The heavy dust of the unseen war is finally settling down. The dark storm has completely passed, and right now you are standing at the exact edge of a massive timeline shift. The universe is actively dropping breadcrumbs of pure light to guide your tired feet. But you must be incredibly alert to recognize the subtle whispers of heaven, because the divine shift is happening right under your nose. It is time to read the sacred signs. Look at the subtle changes in your daily environment. The sudden appearance of repeating numbers is not just a weird trick of your tired mind. You glance at the clock and see 1:11 or 3:33 completely by accident. You buy a simple coffee, and the total comes out to exactly $7.77. These are not random glitches in the chaotic matrix. These angel numbers are direct confirmation codes from the divine realm. Every time you see them flashing in your reality, heaven is loudly screaming that your frequency is perfectly aligned with your massive destiny. They are validating that your painful isolation worked, and your spiritual coordinates are finally locked onto the timeline of total abundance. The majestic portal is wide open. There is another powerful sign happening inside your physical body. You recently experienced a strange and sudden feeling of profound detachment. Things that used to trigger intense anxiety literally bounce off your energy field now. Someone tries to start a useless argument, but your heart rate does not even slightly elevate. The familiar panic has simply vanished into thin air. This profound mental stillness is your greatest asset. It is the absolute silence of a spiritual warrior who knows the chaotic battle is already won. Your nervous system is finally reprogramming itself to accept the frequency of peace instead of survival. You no longer constantly expect the heavy shoe to drop, because your soul deeply trusts the invisible bridge that heaven built for you in the dark. You are fundamentally changed. You might also feel a bizarre lack of motivation for your old routines. The hobbies you used to obsess over suddenly feel incredibly boring. The career goals you aggressively chased feel completely hollow and meaningless now. You are not experiencing clinical depression. You are just completely outgrowing the small container that used to hold your massive spirit, and the old desires are simply falling away. The universe is emptying your tired hands so you can hold something incredibly heavy. The new timeline requires absolute space to manifest properly. Heaven is deliberately making you bored with the ordinary, so you will blindly leap into the magnificent unknown. They want you hungry for the massive miracle that is currently hurtling toward your reality at lightning speed. Do not cling to the old shadows. You are also experiencing weird synchronicities that literally make you stop and stare. You think about a completely random song, and it immediately plays on the radio. You desperately need an answer to a complex problem, and a random stranger accidentally says the exact phrase you needed to hear. The veil between the physical world and the spiritual realm is incredibly thin for you right now. Your intuition is currently sharp as a razor blade. You can literally feel the hidden intentions behind a fake smile from miles away. You no longer need cold, hard proof to know when a situation is toxic. If your spirit says no, your feet immediately walk away without a single hesitation. You have become a terrifying master of reality who completely trusts the inner voice of the divine. But do not let your powerful guard down just yet. I warned you about a fatal trap that was waiting right at the finish line. The dark forces know that your timeline is shifting, and they are deploying their ultimate weapon to completely derail your final steps. Right before your massive breakthrough arrives, the enemy will send a brilliant counterfeit disguised as your answered prayer. You must be absolutely ruthless. This counterfeit will look exactly like what you asked for. It might be a sudden apology from an old toxic lover who claims they have deeply changed. It could be an incredible job offer that pays incredibly well, but demands all your sacred time. They will tempt your tired soul to settle for a quick fix instead of waiting for the permanent divine reward. It is the ultimate spiritual test. You must look right past the shiny illusion. If you accept the counterfeit, you will immediately reset the brutal cycle of endless waiting. Heaven is watching very closely to see if you will trade your massive inheritance for a simple bowl of cheap soup. Stand absolutely firm in your quiet authority. Let the false opportunity walk away. Because the real miracle is about to shatter the sky. This is the moment everything finally converges. The heavy veil is officially lifting from your tired eyes. I am about to reveal the massive secret that heaven saw inside you from the very beginning. The reason you suffered so deeply was never a punishment. It was the intense pressure required to awaken a terrifying divine ability. You are a master of reality. Heaven looked at your broken heart and saw a weapon of pure light. They did not just see a fragile empath who absorbs endless pain. They saw a rare soul capable of literally bending the physical reality with their focused intention. Your thoughts carry an immense gravitational pull, and the universe simply rearranges itself to match your deepest beliefs. That is exactly why the enemy tried to keep you depressed. If you stayed trapped in the heavy mud of self-doubt, your massive power would remain dormant forever. They knew that a fully awakened chosen one is the most dangerous force on this earth. You do not just survive the violent storms anymore. You stand up and command the chaotic winds to entirely cease. Can you feel that fiery heat rising in your chest right now? That is the dormant DNA of your divine inheritance fully activating. The brutal waiting season is officially over, and the massive doors are blowing entirely off their hinges. You are no longer the victim of a cruel and random universe. You are the ultimate architect of your brand new timeline. Every single thing you lost is being restored 1,000 times over. The generational wealth you were promised is flowing effortlessly into your hands right now. The pure kingdom connection you desperately prayed for is literally stepping into your orbit. Heaven has signed the massive decree, and nobody in hell can ever reverse it. Your absolute victory is here. You have officially become the break in your bloodline that future generations will thank you for. The dark curses of poverty and toxic love die with you today. You walked alone through the terrifying valley of shadows so you could learn how to generate your own blinding light. And now that brilliant light is absolutely blinding the pathetic enemies who doubted you. The universe is handing you the golden keys to the kingdom. You do not have to beg for a seat at their crowded tables anymore. You are building your own magnificent palace, and you are carefully choosing exactly who gets to enter. The power dynamic has permanently shifted in your favor. Your mere presence now demands absolute respect without a single word spoken. You are literally vibrating at the frequency of absolute miracles. When you walk into a room now, the chaotic energy instantly reorganizes itself to match your profound peace. You are a walking sanctuary of divine power. People will look at your glowing aura and wonder how you survived the brutal fire without smelling like heavy smoke. You are the ultimate living proof. Breathe in that glorious air of total liberation. The heavy chains of the past are completely shattered on the floor. You survived the intense crucible of pain, and it beautifully forged you into an untouchable masterpiece. There is absolutely nothing that can stop the massive flood of blessings rushing toward your life. The cosmic scales have permanently tipped, but you must claim this magnificent victory right now. The pitch-black darkness has retreated completely behind you. The dawn of the new era is shining its brightest rays directly onto your spiritual crown. You must lock in this glorious frequency before the fragile human doubts try to creep back into your mind. This massive energetic shift requires a physical seal. God is watching your response in this exact triumphant second. The angels are standing by to execute your final commands. If you simply passively watch this moment pass, the raw energy will dissipate into the empty air. You need to anchor this incredible euphoria deep into the physical ground to create an absolute shield of protection around your bright future. Your physical body needs to align with your newly awakened spirit. Taking a deliberate action right now sends a terrifying message to the dark forces. It proves that you fully accept your majestic identity as a master of reality, and it permanently shuts the heavy door on the painful timeline you just escaped. Do not let this magical moment simply slip away. We are standing at the absolute peak of the mountain together. You can see the beautiful promised land stretching out for miles in front of you. Every tear you cried in the dark was entirely worth this breathtaking view. The universe is waiting for you to step forward and plant your victorious flag. It is time to loudly declare your total freedom to the world. I need you to prepare your mind for the final ritual. The words you are about to speak and the actions you are about to take will echo through eternity. You are not just closing a random video today. You are permanently closing the darkest chapter of your entire existence. Gather all your beautiful strength for the final seal. Your new life officially begins. The heavy battle is officially over. You can finally lay your tired armor down. The universe has declared your absolute victory across all dimensions, and your new life of massive abundance is starting in this exact breathtaking moment. You survived the brutal fire. You kept your beautiful heart completely pure. Now, you must claim your eternal reward. But we must lock down this glorious frequency right now. The dark forces are still watching from the distant shadows, desperately hoping you will forget your immense power the moment you walk away from this screen. We have to create an unbreakable physical seal around your glowing aura. Your divine inheritance needs a permanent anchor. Type Amen or 111 down in the comments right now to seal this reality. Let your physical fingers type out the ultimate declaration of your absolute freedom. This is not just a simple internet comment. It is a legally binding spiritual contract with the divine universe, because you are loudly telling heaven that your hands are finally ready. You also need to establish a permanent divine energy receiving station. Hit the subscribe button to anchor yourself at the highest vibrational frequency. The enemy wants you disconnected and wandering alone again. By joining this sacred tribe, you build a massive wall of light that absolutely no darkness can ever penetrate. You are permanently protected. If this fiery message has reignited the dying faith inside you, do not keep this magnificent blessing entirely to yourself. There is a broken soul out there bleeding in the dark of despair right now. They are crying out for a massive miracle just like you did. Please share this sacred video with them. You must be their guiding light. When you share this profound truth with the world, you are actually multiplying the massive divine harvest for your own family. Sowing the seed of hope today guarantees a magnificent blessing for your own beautiful future. Heaven deeply rewards those who actively partner with their grand design. You are becoming a powerful beacon of hope. The chosen one does not quietly hoard the beautiful light. You are a majestic master of reality who generously pours healing water onto the barren ground. And because your motives are incredibly pure, the universe will make sure your sacred cup absolutely never runs dry again. Your massive wealth and deep peace will simply overflow. Take another slow and deliberate breath. Feel the absolute stillness settling deep into your bones. The heavy anxiety that used to choke you in the morning is permanently gone, and you will wake up tomorrow with a profound sense of purpose and a very light heart. The old heavy burdens have been completely lifted by the loving divine realm. You are officially entering the season of effortless manifestation. You will no longer chase after things that constantly run away from your tired hands. The beautiful things you deeply desire are currently chasing you down with incredible speed. Money will flow to you. Real love will find you. And perfect health will fiercely protect your body. The people who walked away from you will hear about your massive success. They will watch your beautiful rise from a cold and lonely distance, and they will finally realize the catastrophic mistake they made when they tried to bury a burning star. But their deep regret does not matter to you anymore. You are completely untouchable now. Your silent authority is your greatest weapon. You do not need to prove anything to the broken people who entirely misunderstood your pure soul. Your radiant existence is the ultimate proof of heaven standing firmly by your side. Every room you enter will immediately sense the heavy anointing resting upon your quiet shoulders. You carry the divine mark. Never let anyone dim your brilliant light again. If someone tries to bring their chaotic drama into your peaceful palace, you show them the door without a single hesitation. You are the strict guardian of your own sacred energy now. You fought a brutal spiritual war in the dark just to build this peaceful paradise. Defend it with everything. I am incredibly proud of the resilient warrior you have completely become. You could have easily turned bitter and cold when the world was incredibly cruel to you. but you chose to remain soft and fiercely protective of your beautiful empathy. That rare and beautiful choice is exactly why heaven chose you. You are a living miracle. This is the final confirmation you have been desperately praying for. The massive wait is completely over. The painful isolation has beautifully served its divine purpose. Step boldly into your brand new timeline and claim every single blessing that has your name engraved on it. Heaven is loudly applauding your magnificent arrival today. Welcome home. Do not forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel before you leave this sacred space. By doing this, you help spread the divine truth to other chosen ones who are still trapped in the dark. We are building an unstoppable army of light together, and your unique frequency is a crucial part of this grand cosmic design.